Imagine this. You're barely old enough to drive, still worrying about homework and high school drama, yet you're breaking into the personal email account of the CIA director, the head of America's most secretive spy agency. This is not a Hollywood thriller. It's a true story about a small group of teenagers led by one bold kid from the UK who used nothing more than a phone, charm, and a little tech knowledge to humiliate the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world. This is the jaw-dropping tale of the kids who hacked the CIA. In the mid-2000s teens, cybersecurity experts were constantly warning that the biggest vulnerability wasn't firewalls or encryption, it was people. And nothing proved that point more than the audacious actions of a teenager named Kane Gamble. At just 15 years old, from the comfort of his bedroom in Leicester, England, Kane managed to infiltrate the digital lives of top U.S. intelligence officials. He wasn't some Hollywood-style genius coder breaking through military-grade encryption. His weapon? Social engineering, the ability to trick people into giving up sensitive information without realizing it. Over the next few points, we'll break down who Kane was, how he did it, what information was exposed, the chaos it caused, and what became of him after his capture. The boy behind the hack, Kane Gamble, was a seemingly ordinary teenager, quiet, intelligent, and politically opinionated. Growing up in Leicester, UK, he was fascinated by politics and global events, often reading about wars, government actions, and social justice causes. By the age of 15, he had already formed strong views about the Iraq War, U.S. foreign policy, and the treatment of Palestinians. But unlike most teens who simply debated these issues online, Kane decided to take action in a way that would put him on the radar of the world's most powerful intelligence agencies. Operating under the alias Kraka, Kane became the leader of a small group of like-minded hackers called Crackers with Attitude, CWA. They weren't professional cybercriminals. They were teenagers with a mix of curiosity, defiance, and technical skill. But what they lacked in sophisticated hacking tools, they made up for in boldness and creativity. The formation of Crackers with Attitude CWA wasn't some sprawling dark web organization. It was a small crew of teenagers from different countries who connected through online forums and chat rooms. Their shared mission was partly mischief, partly activism. They considered themselves hacktivists rather than criminals, believing they were exposing the hypocrisy and security failings of powerful institutions. The group's targets were no small fry. They went after top U.S. intelligence officials, including CIA Director John Brennan, Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and high-ranking FBI officials. The idea was simple: embarrass these officials, prove that the so-called guardians of national security could be compromised by kids with persistence and a Wi-Fi connection, and make political statements in the process. How they got in? Social engineering at its best. Contrary to what Hollywood might show, hacking isn't always about writing complex code or bypassing advanced encryption. In this case, the method was far more human and far more embarrassing for the targets. Kane's approach was social engineering, manipulating people into giving away confidential information. In October 2015, Kraka called Verizon customer service, pretending to be a technician. Using charm and confident technical jargon, he convinced the representative to hand over personal details linked to CIA Director John Brennan's account. This included his AOL email address, the backup phone number, the account PIN, and even the last 4 digits of his bank card. With that information, the group then called AOL directly, posed as Brennan, and reset the password. Once inside, they had days of uninterrupted access to Brennan's personal emails. Emails that contained sensitive documents like his SF-86 security clearance form, which detailed personal background information, including addresses, family members, and social contacts. What they found inside the CIA director's inbox. The content they accessed wasn't just casual conversation, it was highly sensitive. The SF-86 form alone was a goldmine for any hostile actor, containing detailed background checks and personal data of a top U.S. intelligence leader. Alongside that, the hackers found attachments, internal memos, and contact lists of other intelligence officials. But it didn't stop with Brennan. Using similar methods, CWA also compromised accounts linked to James Clapper and other high-ranking officials. They dug through personal files, intercepted voicemails, and even managed to forward Clapper's home phone to an anti-Israel activist's line as a prank. It was both deeply embarrassing and politically provocative, making it public. The leaks, having this data was one thing, but CWA wanted the world to know about it. They began leaking parts of it online, publishing lists of CIA personnel complete with phone numbers, email addresses, and social security numbers. They also posted screenshots of sensitive files, using Twitter accounts to spread their findings and mock U.S. intelligence agencies. In one memorable interaction, they directly messaged John Brennan, telling him they wanted Palestine to be free and for the U.S. to stop killing innocent people. Brennan reportedly asked, "How much do you really want?" A sign of just how surreal the situation had become. These leaks didn't reveal classified CIA operations, but they exposed enough personal data to put dozens of officials at risk, highlighting shocking gaps in basic personal security. The political message behind the hack. While the operation was undeniably illegal, it was not purely for personal gain. Kane and his group saw themselves as fighting a cause, angry at U.S. military interventions and sympathetic to the Palestinian struggle. They viewed the hack as a form of protest, a way to force the public to pay attention to their grievances. However, critics argued that leaking personal information of intelligence officials wasn't activism. It was reckless endangerment. The U.S. government considered it a direct attack on national security, and intelligence insiders warned that the leaked information could be exploited by hostile foreign powers. Global reaction and media coverage news of the breach spread quickly. Outlets like The Guardian, Wired, and Al Jazeera covered the story extensively, with headlines questioning how America's top spy chief could be so easily outwitted by a teenager. Cybersecurity experts called it a wake-up call, proof that no one, no matter how powerful, is immune to human error. The hack embarrassed not only the CIA, but also companies like Verizon and AOL, whose weak verification processes had allowed the attack to succeed. It was a PR disaster for multiple organizations and an uncomfortable lesson in the dangers of social engineering. The hunt for the hacker, U.S. authorities worked closely with British law enforcement to track down the culprits. Despite the hackers using online aliases and tools to mask their identities, digital breadcrumbs were left behind. IP traces, account login histories, and chat records began to narrow the search. By early 2016, the FBI had enough evidence to identify Kane Gamble as the leader of CWA. In February 2016, UK police raided his family home. Kane was arrested and his electronic devices were seized. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Chat logs, call records, and files from the hacks were found on his computer. Trial and sentencing. In October 2017, Kane pleaded guilty to multiple charges of unauthorized access to computer material. During the trial, the court heard that he had cyber-terrorized senior officials and put national security at risk. The prosecution emphasized that, while the hacks were relatively simple in technical terms, the consequences were serious. In 2018, Kane was sentenced to 2 years in youth detention and served time at HMP Belmarsh, a prison known for holding high-security inmates. His age meant he avoided a longer adult sentence, but the conviction would follow him for life. Life after prison, from hacker to cybersecurity consultant. After serving his sentence, Kane Gamble made a surprising transformation. Instead of disappearing from the public eye, he began working in cybersecurity, this time on the right side of the law. He joined bug bounty programs, helping companies identify vulnerabilities before malicious hackers could exploit them. Eventually, he became a senior security consultant, using his skills to strengthen defenses instead of breaking them. His story has since been cited as an example of how young offenders with technical talent can be rehabilitated and put their skills to good use. Still, the hack remains one of the most embarrassing breaches in U.S. intelligence history, a moment when a teenager with a phone could outwit the world's most powerful spy agency. The story of the kids who hacked the CIA is more than just a tale of digital mischief. It's a warning. The greatest weakness in any system isn't the technology, it's the people operating it. Kane Gamble's actions were illegal and dangerous, but they also force powerful institutions to confront their vulnerabilities. Whether you see him as a criminal, an activist, or a cautionary tale, one thing is clear. The future of security will depend as much on educating people as it will on building stronger technology. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the wildest hacks in modern history, hit the like button, subscribe for more true cyber stories, and let me know in the comments which legendary hack you want me to cover next.